Good afternoon, everybody. This is John Thompson. It's 1:42 on January 21st, 2019. It's Martin Luther King Day, and my school starts tomorrow. So before my school starts, I decided to work on a little project. I'm currently in the process of building the Trumpeter USS New York. It's a sister ship of the USS Texas model that I had started, and I have some work I can show you. I can also explain to you some of the problems I encountered as well when building the Texas. Here we have the hull. Hull is actually pretty much a straightforward affair. It's two pieces. You glue them together, but inside the hull there's transverse bulkheads that you put in, about 5, and there's a peg assembly on the forward and after areas here on the hull. Generally, it went together very well. There was very little flash. One issue I had when I built the Texas was, you'll notice this deck is perfectly level. When I built the Texas, I had a slight step in the deck right here, and this joint. So ultimately, I had to find a way around that. I had just glued the deck down. Everything was all fixed in place. It didn't affect the appearance of the model too much because what I was able to do was basically take a little bit off of the bulkheads that go in this area where the step was, and I was able to fix that and reattach it and re-glue the piece again. So I pieced it basically back together. It didn't matter because you don't see that bulkhead with the doors anyway along the back, but this assembly I took a different approach. Originally, when I had built this ship, I put the forward deck down last, and I didn't align it properly. What I did here was I put the aft deck down and made sure that I had it all the way in properly in, and then snapped in the forward deck assemblies, clamped it up, and that was basically what I did. So basically I have a really solid hull. You could see here that I have the struts and shaft attached on the port and starboard sides, and I'll tell you that I really like this model better than the Texas. It seemed to go together a lot better. The bilge keels too were great, although this guy presented a bit of a challenge on the port side. I had to basically remove it and reattach it, so because I had it on wrong. I try to match to the curve. They give you a curve to basically go with that. You're going to wonder why I painted that deck blue there. That deck is basically where the superstructure piece is going to fit over. There's 6 guns that have to go aboard in that area, and I'll put them on. And then basically close in that space. And then it'll basically have the whole bulkhead assembly that I was telling you about that I ran into the issue with on the Texas that runs all along in here up to the barbette. And then the barbette fits in as a separate piece. I did have issues with that on the Texas. I was able to work it out so the model looked decent when it was finished, but there was a lot of stuff that you didn't know. This actually wound up going together a lot better. Cosmetically, it's a different model in the sense that the deck is different. You'll notice here the anti-aircraft tub placements are different. They're different on the Texas. Back here, mainly, you have them in groups of 2, and there's like 2 or 3, and then so the 20 millimeter placements are different. Your 5-inch and your dual purpose guns here, the anti-aircraft guns, are in the same locations as on the Texas. The photo etch is also very similar. Another difference is going to be in the tripod mast. I ordered parts originally for the mast tops for the Texas. Unfortunately, I didn't get those till late, and I had just basically given up hope waiting for them to arrive. So what I did was I completed the model without them and used the stock parts. Those stock parts are going to get incorporated into this model of the New York, and I'm going to basically try to model her. I'm trying to backdate the camo scheme to possibly an earlier one. I have plenty of haze gray paint or neutral gray paint, which I'm going to use, and I have the blue deck, so I'm probably going to think about doing that very famous navy blue stripe on the hull with the haze gray. or I might even go ahead and do that camouflage. So I'm still kind of on the fence. I'm thinking possibly about doing the camouflage just for the hell of it, and to see what I can do. I do have samples of that scheme. I'm not really quite so fond of the paint scheme that they give me in the kit directions. I'll also want to point out too that the decals in the New York are a lot better than the Texas. You have both sets of numbers for the bow and the stern. You have more markings. The decals are a lot better. The only thing I don't like is that ship's name. For some people, that basically it's like a big no-no to put that on the ship anyway. I do have Navy letters, which I'm going to actually put the ship's name on when I finish. So this is going to be a great comparison to the Texas. The tripod mast top, like I mentioned before, is a little bit different. Anti-aircraft mountings are different. So you're going to see some visible cosmetic differences when I compare the Texas to the New York. My Texas right now, I had to recase it. I had an old model I built of the Mauritania. It was a paper model. I had it built in a troop ship configuration and wound up deciding to get rid of it. So I used the case for the Texas. It fits in there very nicely, and so I basically wanted to do that to kind of keep the dust off of it. I've had it for about 3 weeks. Got it before Christmas. My wife gave me that as a Christmas present. So this is actually for my father-in-law, and I wanted to be able to use those Shapeways parts that I had bought for the Texas on the New York. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of modification on the aft mast top. I'll be able to use the actual top mast top portion, but the base I won't be able to use. So I'll be creative in future videos, but this is going to be pretty much going to bring you up to speed. I will do a comparison later on between this model and the finished Texas. They'll be in two different schemes, so that will definitely help. But thank you very much. Have a great day.